You've spent years becoming who you are today, years of habits, beliefs, experiences, and choices. They've built the current version of you, brick by brick, decision by decision. But here's the truth. The current version of you might not be who you want to be. Maybe you've accumulated limiting beliefs. Maybe you've developed destructive habits. Maybe you've lost touch with who you truly are beneath all the expectations and obligations. The good news is this: you can rebuild yourself. You're not stuck with who you've become. You can deconstruct what doesn't serve you and reconstruct yourself into who you want to be. But this requires something most people resist: making yourself the primary focus of your life. Every single day we're told this is selfish. We're taught to put others first, to sacrifice ourselves for work, family obligations, to feel guilty about prioritizing our own development. This is backwards. You can't serve others from an empty cup. You can't help anyone else if you're broken, depleted, and lost. You can't give what you don't have. The most generous thing you can do is build yourself into someone capable of contributing. The most loving thing you can do is become someone whole and healthy. The most responsible thing you can do is take ownership of your own development. This means making yourself your daily priority, not in a narcissistic way, in a developmental way. Investing in yourself, working on yourself, focusing on your growth, health, and transformation. Most people spend more time maintaining their cars than maintaining themselves. They invest more energy in their jobs than in their personal development. They focus more on others' opinions than their own growth. Then they wonder why they feel lost, exhausted, and unfulfilled. It's because they've neglected themselves. They've put themselves last for so long that they've eroded. Rebuilding yourself means reversing this pattern. It means making yourself the foundation of your daily focus, not the afterthought, not the if I have time, the priority. This isn't selfish, it's essential, because only by rebuilding yourself can you show up fully in the world. Only by investing in yourself can you become capable of your potential. Only by focusing on your growth can you become who you're meant to be. Think about it like renovating a house. You can't renovate effectively if you're constantly distracted by other houses. You need to focus on your house, assess what needs repair, create a plan, work on it consistently, give it daily attention. The same applies to yourself. You can't rebuild yourself while obsessively focusing on others. You need to turn your attention inward, assess honestly where you are, decide where you want to go, work on yourself daily. This audiobook is about that process, about making yourself the focus of your daily efforts, about systematically rebuilding yourself into someone stronger, clearer, and more aligned with your values. We'll explore 10 essential principles, understanding that you're a work in progress, creating your ideal blueprint, eliminating what doesn't serve you, building new empowering habits, prioritizing your physical foundation, mastering your mental space, healing emotional wounds, developing your skills deliberately, aligning with your authentic self, and committing to daily self-investment. These principles will guide your reconstruction. They'll help you systematically transform from who you've been into who you want to become. But I need to be clear about something. Rebuilding yourself is uncomfortable. It requires letting go of old identities. It demands consistent effort. It means choosing growth over comfort repeatedly. Most people start this process enthusiastically, then drift back to old patterns because change is hard. The daily focus on self-improvement feels like too much work. The discomfort of growth seems harder than the familiarity of stagnation. Can you commit despite this discomfort? Can you make yourself your daily focus even when it's challenging? Can you prioritize your development over immediate comfort? If yes, then let's begin this journey of reconstruction. Because here's what I know. You're capable of more than you're currently demonstrating. You have potential that's undeveloped. You have strengths that are dormant. You have a better version of yourself waiting to be built. But that version won't build itself. It requires your focused attention, your daily effort, your unwavering commitment to your own development. Right now, you're the project. You're the work in progress. You're what deserves your primary focus, not your job, not others' expectations, not external validation. Your growth, your healing, your development, your transformation. Every day, let your focus be on you, not in a way that ignores others or your responsibilities. In a way that recognizes you can't fulfill responsibilities or help others effectively if you're not whole. Build yourself first. Strengthen yourself daily. Focus on your reconstruction consistently, then watch how everything else in your life improves. Because when you're stronger, clearer, healthier, and more aligned, you show up better everywhere. Better relationships because you're whole, not seeking others to complete you. Better work because you're developed, not just going through motions. Better life because you've built someone capable of living it fully. This is rebuilding yourself. This is making yourself your daily focus. This is the transformation you're capable of. Let's begin your reconstruction. Let's build the person you're meant to be, starting now, starting with you. Chapter 1. Accept that you're a work in progress. The first step in rebuilding yourself is accepting where you are right now. Not who you wish you were, not who you pretend to be, who you actually are today, flaws and all. This acceptance isn't resignation. It's the foundation for change. Because you can't rebuild something if you won't acknowledge its current state. You can't improve what you won't honestly assess. Most people resist this honest assessment. They're attached to their self-image. They want to believe they're further along than they are. They defend against evidence of their limitations. This resistance prevents growth. How can you work on something you won't admit needs work? Accepting that you're a work in progress means acknowledging several truths. First, you have limitations. Skills you lack, habits that harm you, beliefs that limit you, emotional patterns that sabotage you. These aren't judgments, they're observations. Everyone has them. Denying your limitations doesn't eliminate them. It just prevents you from addressing them. Second, you're not finished developing. The person you are today isn't the final version. You're in process, always learning, always growing, always becoming. This is actually liberating. You don't have to be perfect now. You just have to be committed to progress. Third, past versions of you made mistakes. You've failed. You've hurt people. You've made poor choices. This is part of being human. You can't change the past, but you can learn from it and build better going forward. Fourth, you're capable of change. You're not fixed. Your brain is neuroplastic. Your habits can be modified. Your beliefs can be updated. Your patterns can be interrupted. This capacity for change is your power. Use it. Fifth, your current state is temporary. How you are today isn't how you'll always be. If you focus on rebuilding, you'll be different 6 months from now, different a year from now, different 5 years from now, but only if you accept where you're starting from. Here's how to practice this acceptance. Take an honest inventory. Write down your current state across key areas: physical health, mental health, relationships, career, skills, habits, finances. Be brutally honest, not to shame yourself. To establish your baseline, you need to know where you're starting. Identify patterns you want to change. What do you repeatedly do that doesn't serve you? What habits keep producing negative results? What beliefs limit your potential? Name them specifically. You can't change, "I'm kind of negative sometimes." You can change, "I complain about work every evening, which reinforces my dissatisfaction." Acknowledge your progress so far. You're not starting from zero. You've already grown and developed in many ways. Recognize this. Balanced assessment includes both limitations and strengths. Stop defending your current state. When you notice yourself justifying why you are the way you are, pause. Justification is resistance to change. You don't need to defend being a work in progress. Everyone is embrace beginner's mind. In areas where you want to grow, adopt the mindset of a beginner. You don't know everything. You have much to learn. This is exciting, not embarrassing. Experts were once beginners. You're just earlier in the journey? View yourself with compassion. Harsh judgment of your current state doesn't motivate growth. It creates shame, which causes avoidance. Compassionate assessment acknowledges reality without condemnation. I'm here now. I'm working on getting better. This is the process. Separate your worth from your development. You're valuable as a human being, regardless of your current level of development. Your worth isn't contingent on being finished. This separation allows honest assessment without ego threat. Here's what happens when you accept that you're a work in progress. You become open to growth. You stop defending your limitations and start addressing them. You stop pretending to be finished and start actually developing. This openness is essential for rebuilding. Closed systems can't change. Open systems evolve. Think about athletes. The best ones constantly assess their performance honestly. They acknowledge weaknesses. They work on limitations. They don't pretend they're already perfect. This honest assessment, combined with dedicated work, is what creates excellence. You need the same approach for your life. Honest assessment of where you are. Acceptance that you're in progress. Commitment to improvement. Let me address a concern. Won't accepting my limitations make me complacent? No. Denying limitations makes you complacent because you think you don't need to improve. Accepting them creates motivation to work on them. You can't improve what you won't acknowledge. Another concern. Isn't this just negative self-talk? There's a difference between honest assessment and negative self-talk. Honest assessment is factual. I currently lack this skill. Negative self-talk is judgmental. I'm stupid and incapable. One motivates growth. The other creates paralysis. Here's your action step. This week, do an honest assessment of yourself across 5 key areas: physical health, mental, emotional health, relationships, skills, career, and daily habits. For each area, write down current state, honest, not judgmental. What's working well? What needs development? One specific change you could make. This assessment is your starting point, your baseline, where you're rebuilding from. Accept where you are. You're a work in progress, and that's exactly as it should be. Chapter 2. Create your blueprint. Design your ideal self. You can't rebuild without a blueprint. You need a clear vision of what you're building. Otherwise, you're just randomly changing things without direction. Most people never create this blueprint. They drift through life reacting to circumstances, never intentionally designing themselves. They become whoever circumstances make them rather than who they choose to be. Rebuilding yourself requires reversing this. You must consciously design your ideal self, not who others expect you to be, not who you think you should be, who you genuinely want to become. This is your blueprint, your architectural plan for reconstruction. Here's how to create it. First, envision your ideal future self, not in vague terms like successful or happy. Specifically, what does this person look like? How do they spend their days? What habits do they have? How do they treat others? What values guide them? Close your eyes and visualize this person in detail. This is who you're building. Second, identify the characteristics you want to embody. What qualities define your ideal self? Maybe disciplined, compassionate, creative, healthy, courageous, wise, generous, focused, peaceful, authentic. Choose 5 to 10 core characteristics. These become your guiding stars. Third, define your values. What matters most to you? What principles will guide your decisions and actions? Values might include integrity, growth, family, contribution, excellence, freedom, connection, creativity, health, learning. Your values determine your priorities and choices. Clarify them. Fourth, describe your ideal daily life. How does your ideal self spend a typical day? What time do they wake up? What's their morning routine? How do they work? How do they relax? How do they interact with others? What do they do before bed? Be specific. This daily description becomes your template. Fifth, identify key habits and behaviors. What specific habits does your ideal self maintain? Maybe they exercise daily, read for 30 minutes, practice gratitude, eat whole foods, maintain deep relationships, work with focus, practice a skill deliberately. List these specifically. Habits are the building blocks of identity. Sixth, clarify your goals. What does your ideal self want to achieve? Not just career or financial goals, all dimensions, health goals, relationship goals, skill development goals, contribution goals, experience goals. Your blueprint includes destinations, not just character traits. Seventh, write your personal mission statement. In 2-3 sentences, describe your purpose and approach to life. This mission statement guides all decisions. It's your North Star. Example: I'm committed to continuous growth and using my developing capabilities to contribute meaningfully to others. I pursue excellence in my work while maintaining health, deep relationships, and inner peace. Eighth, create a vision document. Compile everything above into one document. Your blueprint for rebuilding include descriptions, characteristics, values, daily routines, habits, goals, and mission statement. This document is your reference point. Review it regularly to ensure your daily actions align with your blueprint. Ninth, make it visual. Create a vision board or visual representation of your ideal self. Images that represent your goals, values, and desired life. Visual representations are powerful because your brain processes images quickly and emotionally. 10th, test your blueprint against reality. Is this vision authentic to you, or is it based on others' expectations? Would you still want this if no one knew about it? Your blueprint must be genuinely yours, not a borrowed dream. Here's why creating a blueprint matters. Without direction, effort is wasted. You might work hard on rebuilding yourself, but if you don't know what you're building toward, you'll make random changes that don't add up to anything coherent. With a blueprint, every action has purpose. You know whether a choice moves you toward or away from your ideal self. The blueprint also creates motivation. When you can see clearly what you're building, you're energized to do the work. Abstract ideas of being better don't motivate like specific visions of who you're becoming. Additionally, the blueprint enables measurement. You can assess whether you're making progress. Are you becoming more like your ideal self? Are you embodying your chosen characteristics? Are you living according to your values? Without a blueprint, progress is unclear. With one, you know exactly where you stand. Let me give you an example. Two people want to improve themselves. Person A has only a vague idea. I want to be better. They try various self-improvement tactics randomly. Some gym, some reading, some meditation. But there's no coherence. 6 months later, they've made scattered changes, but no real transformation. Person B creates a detailed blueprint. They define their ideal self specifically. Then they identify which habits, changes, and development areas will build that self. They work systematically on their blueprint. 6 months later, they've made focused progress toward a clear vision, same desire for improvement. Different approach, different results. Let me address a concern. What if I don't know who I want to become? Start with who you don't want to be. What characteristics do you want to eliminate? What life do you want to avoid? Then consider opposites. This exploration often clarifies what you do want. Also, your blueprint can evolve. Start with your best current understanding. Refine as you learn more about yourself. Another concern. Isn't this too rigid? What about spontaneity? Your blueprint is a direction, not a prison. It guides your general trajectory while allowing flexibility in how you get there. You're not eliminating spontaneity. You're ensuring spontaneous choices align with your values and goals. Here's your action step. This week, create your blueprint. Set aside 2 to 3 hours. Answer all the questions above. Write your vision document. Put it somewhere you'll see it daily. Review it weekly. Let it guide your daily choices. This blueprint is your reconstruction plan. Every action you take should move you closer to it. Create your blueprint. Know what you're building. Direct your reconstruction purposefully. Chapter 3. Eliminate what doesn't serve you. Rebuilding yourself isn't just about adding new things. It's also about removing what doesn't serve you. You can't build a new structure on a rotting foundation. You need to clear away what's damaging. This elimination is uncomfortable because we're attached to our current patterns, even destructive ones. They're familiar. They're part of our identity. Letting them go feels like losing something. But you can't become someone new while clinging to old patterns that created the person you're trying to move beyond. So, rebuilding requires deliberate elimination. Here's what to remove: toxic relationships. Some relationships drain you, diminish you, or prevent your growth. They might be explicitly abusive or just subtly toxic. Either way, they're incompatible with rebuilding yourself. You can't rebuild while surrounded by people who benefit from your staying small. You can't grow while connected to people who actively discourage your development. This doesn't mean abandoning everyone who has any negative traits. It means creating distance from relationships that are fundamentally toxic or preventing your evolution. Destructive habits. Identify habits that actively harm you: excessive drinking, drug use, binge eating, compulsive phone checking, procrastination, chronic complaining, staying up too late, consuming toxic media. These habits seem minor individually, but they compound. They keep you stuck in patterns incompatible with who you're becoming. Eliminate them systematically. Not all at once, that's overwhelming, but one by one, remove habits that don't serve your blueprint. Limiting beliefs. You carry beliefs about yourself and the world that limit your potential. I'm not smart enough. I always fail at relationships. Success isn't for people like me. I can't change. These beliefs aren't truth. They're stories you've accepted. And they prevent rebuilding because they tell you it's impossible. Identify your limiting beliefs. Question them. Replace them with empowering beliefs aligned with your blueprint. Energy drains. What activities drain your energy without providing value? Mindless social media scrolling, watching hours of television, engaging in gossip, attending obligations you resent, saying yes to everything. Energy is finite. If it's being drained by low-value activities, you don't have it for high-value development. Eliminate or minimize energy drains ruthlessly. Protect your energy for rebuilding work, clutter, and possessions. Your physical environment affects your mental state. Clutter creates mental clutter. Possessions you don't need or love create weight. Simplify your physical space. Keep what serves you, eliminate what doesn't. This creates psychological space for transformation. Commitments that don't align with your values. You have finite time. Currently, some of it goes to commitments that don't align with your values or goals. Audit your commitments. Which ones truly matter? Which ones are you doing out of guilt or habit? Which ones move you toward your blueprint? Let go of misaligned commitments. This creates space for aligned ones. Self-sabotaging thoughts. Notice the internal dialogue that undermines your efforts. The voice that tells you to give up. That says you're not capable. That questions whether change is worth it. This internal saboteur doesn't serve you. When it appears, recognize it and dismiss it. Don't engage with thoughts that undermine your reconstruction. Excuses. You have explanations for why you can't rebuild yourself. Too busy, too old, too damaged, too late. Wrong circumstances. Bad timing. These excuses keep you stuck. They're protection mechanisms that prevent the discomfort of change. Eliminate excuses. Replace them with commitment. I'm rebuilding myself regardless of obstacles, past identity. You're attached to who you've been, stories you've told about yourself, roles you've played, how others have known you. But you can't become someone new while clinging to your old identity. Let go of, I've always been this way. That version of you is what you're rebuilding. The need for external validation. If your self-worth depends on others' approval, you'll constantly adjust yourself to please them. This prevents authentic rebuilding. Eliminate the need for external validation. Build internal validation. Approve of yourself based on whether you're living according to your values and working toward your blueprint. Here's how to eliminate what doesn't serve you. Make a list. In each category above, identify specifically what you need to eliminate. Be honest and thorough. Prioritize. You can't eliminate everything at once. Choose 2 to 3 items to address first, the ones that are most damaging or easiest to remove. Create a plan. How will you eliminate each item? If it's a habit, what will you replace it with? If it's a relationship, how will you create distance? If it's a belief, what will you replace it with? Take action. Elimination requires action, not just intention. Unfollow toxic social media accounts today. Decline invitations to draining obligations. Set boundaries with toxic people. Stop buying foods that don't serve your health. Be prepared for discomfort. Elimination creates temporary void. The habit, relationship, or pattern is gone, but you haven't fully established what replaces it yet. This discomfort is where most people fail. They rush back to the old pattern because the void feels uncomfortable. Sit with the discomfort. Trust that you're creating space for something better. Here's what happens when you eliminate what doesn't serve you. You create capacity for what does. You free energy, time, and mental space for building your ideal self. Think of it like pruning a tree. You remove dead branches not to harm the tree, but to help it grow stronger. The elimination serves the growth. Let me address a concern. What if eliminating things makes my life feel empty? Temporarily, yes. But that emptiness is space for building something better. Fill it with aligned relationships, productive habits, empowering beliefs, and meaningful activities. The emptiness is a transition, not a destination. Another concern. Isn't it harsh to eliminate relationships? You're not obligated to maintain relationships that harm you. Protecting your own well-being and development isn't harsh. It's necessary. You can end relationships with compassion, but you can still end them. Here's your action step. This week, identify 3 things that don't serve you. Maybe 1 toxic habit, 1 limiting belief, and 1 energy drain. Create a plan to eliminate each one. Then take the first action on each plan this week. Start clearing space. Eliminate what doesn't serve you. Make room for what does. Chapter 4. Build new empowering habits. Once you've eliminated what doesn't serve you, you need to fill that space with what does, specifically with empowering habits that align with your blueprint and move you toward your ideal self. Habits are the infrastructure of your life. They're the small actions you repeat daily that compound into your results and identity. If you want to rebuild yourself, you must rebuild your habits. You are what you repeatedly do. Change your habits and you change yourself. Here's how to build empowering habits. First, identify keystone habits. These are habits that naturally trigger other positive behaviors. They create positive cascading effects. Exercise is a keystone habit. When you exercise regularly, you tend to eat better, sleep better, and make better decisions. One habit improves multiple areas. Reading is a keystone habit. It often leads to better conversations, new ideas, and expanded thinking. Morning routines are keystone habits. Starting your day intentionally sets the tone for everything that follows. Identify 2 to 3 keystone habits aligned with your blueprint. These become your foundation. Second, start smaller than you think necessary. Most people fail at habit formation because they start too big. They commit to exercising an hour daily when they haven't exercised in months. Start absurdly small. So small you can't fail. 5 minutes of exercise, 1 page of reading, 2 minutes of meditation. The goal initially is consistency, not intensity. Build the habit of showing up. Once that's established, you can increase duration and intensity. Third, attach new habits to existing ones. This is habit stacking. You link a new behavior to an established behavior. After I pour my morning coffee, I'll write in my journal for 5 minutes. After I brush my teeth at night, I'll do 10 push-ups. After I park my car at work, I'll take 3 deep breaths before going inside. The existing habit triggers the new one. This makes it easier to remember and execute. Fourth, design your environment. Make desired habits easy and undesired habits difficult. Want to read more? Keep books visible and accessible. Want to exercise? Lay out workout clothes the night before. Want to eat healthy? Prep healthy meals in advance. Your environment should support your habits, not fight them. Fifth, track your habits. Use a habit tracker, calendar, or app. Mark each day you complete the habit. This tracking provides accountability and motivation. You don't want to break your streak. The visual representation of consistency is powerful. Sixth, never miss twice. You'll occasionally miss a habit. Life happens. That's fine. The key is never missing twice in a row. Missing once is a mistake. Missing twice is the beginning of a new pattern. The pattern of not doing the habit. If you miss Monday, do it Tuesday, no matter what. This prevents slides. Seventh, focus on identity, not just behavior. Don't just go to the gym. Be someone who exercises. Don't just eat vegetables. Be someone who takes care of their health. Every time you execute a habit, you're voting for that identity. Accumulate enough votes, and you become that person. Eighth, create accountability. Share your habits with someone. Join a group pursuing similar goals. Have a partner who checks in on you. External accountability helps when internal motivation is low. Ninth, review and refine. Each week, review your habits. What's working? What's not? What needs adjustment? Habits aren't set and forget. They require ongoing refinement. 10th, celebrate completion. Don't just grind through habits mechanically. Acknowledge when you complete them. This positive reinforcement strengthens the behavior. Here are essential empowering habits to consider. Physical habits, regular exercise, healthy eating, adequate sleep, hydration, stretching, walking. Mental habits, reading, learning new skills, challenging yourself intellectually, limiting negative media consumption. Emotional habits, journaling, meditation, gratitude practice, therapy or counseling. Emotional expression, relational habits, quality time with loved ones, reaching out to friends, active listening, expressing appreciation, professional habits, focused work blocks, skill development, networking, continuous learning, review and planning sessions. Spiritual habits, meditation, prayer, nature time, reflection, alignment with values. Choose habits from multiple categories. You're rebuilding your whole self, not just one dimension. Here's why habits matter more than motivation. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes based on mood, circumstances, and external factors. If you rely on motivation, you'll be inconsistent. Habits are automatic. Once established, they don't require motivation. You just do them because that's what you do. Rebuilding yourself requires consistency over time. That consistency comes from habits, not motivation. Let me give you an example. Two people want to rebuild themselves. Person A relies on motivation. When they feel inspired, they do everything. Exercise, read, journal, eat healthy. When motivation fades, they do nothing. Their efforts are sporadic. 6 months later, little has changed. Person B builds habits. They start small. They stack habits. They track completion. They never miss twice. Their efforts are consistent even on unmotivated days. 6 months later, they've transformed because small daily actions compounded. Same goal, different approach, different results. Let me address a concern. Won't building habits make my life rigid and boring? Habits create freedom, not restriction. When beneficial actions are automatic, you have more mental space and energy for creativity, spontaneity, and enjoyment. You're not spending willpower on basic self-care. It's handled. This frees you for higher pursuits. Another concern: how many habits can I build at once? Generally focus on 1 to 3 new habits at a time. Adding more creates overwhelm and reduces success rate. Master a few, then add more. Build your habit infrastructure gradually. Here's your action step. Choose 3 empowering habits aligned with your blueprint. Make them small enough to do every day. For the next 30 days, track these habits daily. Never miss twice. Stack them if possible. After 30 days, assess. What's now automatic? What needs adjustment? What's your next habit to add? Build empowering habits. Create daily actions aligned with your blueprint. Rebuild yourself 1 habit at a time. Chapter 5. Prioritize your physical foundation. You can't rebuild yourself from the neck up. Your physical state profoundly affects your mental, emotional, and spiritual state. Your body is the foundation of everything else. Yet most people neglect their physical foundation while trying to improve other areas. They want mental clarity while sleep-deprived, emotional stability while eating garbage, energy while sedentary. This doesn't work. Your body affects your mind. Your physical health enables your mental and emotional health. If your body is weak, everything else struggles. Rebuilding yourself must start with your physical foundation. Not superficial appearance, genuine health and vitality. Here's what this means. Sleep is non-negotiable. Most people treat sleep as optional or something to minimize. They sacrifice it for work, entertainment, or busyness. This is backwards. Sleep is when your body repairs, when your brain consolidates learning, when your emotions regulate. Without adequate sleep, everything else deteriorates. Make sleep a priority. Aim for 7-9 hours nightly. Create a consistent schedule. Design your bedroom for sleep. Eliminate screens before bed. This isn't laziness. It's foundational maintenance. Movement is daily medicine. Your body is designed to move. Sitting all day is physiologically abnormal. Lack of movement creates physical and mental problems. You don't need to become an athlete. You need regular movement. Walking, stretching, strength training. Whatever you enjoy and can sustain, aim for at least 30 minutes of movement daily. More is better. Make it non-negotiable, like brushing teeth. Movement improves mood, energy, clarity, and resilience. It's one of the highest ROI investments in rebuilding yourself. Nutrition matters profoundly. What you eat becomes your cells, fuels your brain, and affects your mood. Eating primarily processed foods, sugar, and inflammatory ingredients creates a compromised physical foundation. You don't need a perfect diet. You need a diet primarily consisting of whole, unprocessed foods, vegetables, fruits, proteins, healthy fats, adequate water. This isn't about appearance. It's about functioning optimally. Your brain needs proper nutrition to think clearly. Your body needs it to have energy. Strength training builds more than muscle. Lifting weights or doing body weight exercises builds physical strength. But it also builds mental toughness, discipline, and confidence. There's something powerful about proving to yourself regularly that you're getting stronger, that you can do hard things, that your body responds to consistent effort. Include some form of resistance training in your movement practice. Even twice weekly makes significant difference. Manage stress physically. Chronic stress damages your body. It elevates cortisol, suppresses immune function, disturbs sleep, and affects every system. Physical practices manage stress. Exercise, deep breathing, yoga, time in nature, massage, adequate rest. You can't rebuild yourself while chronically stressed. Address stress through physical practices. Eliminate physical toxins. Alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, excessive caffeine. These actively damage your body. They might provide temporary relief or pleasure, but they undermine your foundation. If you're serious about rebuilding yourself, minimize or eliminate these. They're incompatible with optimal functioning. Regular health maintenance. See your doctor. Get checkups.
Address issues early.
Take care of dental health. Get adequate eye care. Neglecting basic health maintenance creates problems that interfere with everything else. Prevention is easier than repair. Posture and ergonomics. How you hold your body affects how you feel mentally and emotionally. Slouching affects mood and confidence. Poor ergonomics creates pain that distracts from everything else. Pay attention to posture. Set up your workspace properly. Move frequently to avoid stiffness. Recovery and rest. Rebuilding yourself isn't just about effort. It's also about recovery. Your body and mind need rest to consolidate growth. Include rest days in your movement practice. Take breaks during focused work. Allow downtime without guilt. Recovery isn't laziness. It's essential for sustainable rebuilding. Connection between body and mind. Notice how physical state affects mental state. When you're tired, hungry, or uncomfortable, your thinking is clouded. Your emotions are less regulated. Your patience is shorter. By prioritizing your physical foundation, you're creating conditions for mental and emotional health. Here's why this matters. Many people try to rebuild themselves through mindset alone. They read, reflect, and try to think differently, but their physical state sabotages their efforts. You can't sustain positive mindset while exhausted, undernourished, and sedentary. Your physical state overrides your mental efforts. By prioritizing your physical foundation, you're creating the platform for all other development. You're giving yourself the energy, clarity, and resilience needed for transformation. Let me give you an example. Two people are working on rebuilding themselves. Person A focuses only on mindset. They read, journal, and try to think positively. But they sleep 5 hours nightly, eat fast food, and don't exercise. They wonder why they can't maintain positive changes. Their physical state is sabotaging them. Person B prioritizes physical foundation first. They establish sleep, exercise, and nutrition habits. Then they work on mindset. They find the mental and emotional work much easier because their body supports it. Same goals, different approach, different results. Let me address a concern. I don't have time for all this physical maintenance. You don't have time not to. Physical neglect creates problems that consume far more time than prevention. Also, these aren't separate activities to add. They're the foundation that makes everything else possible. Prioritize them, and everything else gets easier. Another concern, isn't focusing on physical stuff vain? There's a difference between vanity and foundational health. Vanity is obsession with appearance for external validation. Foundation is maintaining your body for optimal functioning. You're not doing this for others. You're doing it to be capable of rebuilding yourself effectively. Here's your action step. Audit your physical foundation. Rate yourself honestly on sleep, nutrition, movement, stress management, and substance use. Choose the weakest area. Create one specific improvement this week. Maybe add 30 minutes to your sleep. Maybe replace one unhealthy meal with a healthy one. Maybe commit to a 20-minute walk daily. Start with one change. Master it, then add another. Build your physical foundation. Create the platform for all other development. Rebuild yourself from the ground up. Chapter 6. Master your mental space. Your mind is your most valuable asset. It's also your most vulnerable liability. What you think determines how you feel, what you do, and who you become. Most people never take control of their mental space. They let random thoughts, media, others' opinions, and past conditioning occupy their minds. They're passive recipients of whatever enters their consciousness. Rebuilding yourself requires active management of your mental space. You must consciously curate what occupies your mind, strengthen your thinking, and eliminate patterns that sabotage you. Here's how to master your mental space. Monitor your inputs carefully. Everything you consume, media, content, conversations, entertainment, affects your mental state. Negative news creates anxiety. Toxic social media creates comparison and inadequacy. Mindless entertainment dulls your thinking. Audit your inputs. What are you consuming daily? Is it enriching your mind or degrading it? Is it aligned with who you're becoming? Eliminate inputs that harm your mental space. Add inputs that strengthen it. Quality books, educational content, inspiring conversations, valuable information. Your mind becomes like what it consumes. Feed it quality. Practice selective attention. You can't focus on everything. What you choose to focus on expands. If you focus on problems, you see more problems. If you focus on opportunities, you see more opportunities. Train yourself to direct attention deliberately. Notice what you're focusing on. Redirect when you're dwelling on unhelpful things. This isn't denial. It's strategic attention management. You acknowledge reality but focus on aspects you can influence. Challenge your thoughts. Most thoughts aren't truth. They're interpretations, assumptions, or old conditioning. "I always fail" isn't truth. It's a thought pattern. When you notice negative or limiting thoughts, challenge them. Is this actually true? What evidence contradicts this? What would I tell a friend who thought this? Don't accept every thought as valid. Evaluate them critically. Develop metacognition. This is thinking about thinking. The ability to observe your own thought patterns and mental state. Practice noticing. I'm thinking anxiously right now. I'm dwelling on past mistakes. I'm creating worst-case scenarios. This observation creates distance between you and your thoughts. You're not your thoughts. You're the awareness observing them. This distance gives you power to choose which thoughts to engage with. Use affirmations strategically. Positive affirmations work, but not as magic spells. They work as directed thought practice. Choose 3 to 5 statements aligned with your blueprint. I'm capable of growth. I'm building the person I want to become. I take aligned action daily. Repeat them regularly. Not to convince yourself of something false, but to practice thinking in alignment with your goals. Practice mindfulness meditation. Even 10 minutes daily of sitting and observing your thoughts without engaging them trains mental control. You learn that thoughts come and go. You don't have to follow everyone. You can let them pass like clouds. This training transfers to daily life. You become better at not being hijacked by every thought or emotion. Create mental space through journaling. Writing externalizes thoughts. It gets them out of your head where they loop endlessly and onto paper where you can process them. Daily journaling, even just 5 to 10 minutes, clears mental clutter. It helps you organize thoughts, identify patterns, and gain perspective. Limit decision fatigue. You make countless decisions daily. Each one depletes mental energy. Reduce unnecessary decisions through routines and systems. Decide once what you'll eat for breakfast, not every morning. Create a morning routine, not daily negotiations about what to do. Establish habits, not constant choices. This preserves mental energy for important decisions about rebuilding yourself. Develop mental toughness. Your mind will encounter difficulty, discomfort, fear, doubt, desire to quit. Mental toughness is continuing despite this resistance. Practice doing hard things. When your mind says stop, go a little further. When it says this is impossible, prove it wrong. When it creates excuses, act anyway. Each time you override mental resistance, you strengthen mental toughness. Cultivate growth mindset. Fixed mindset says you're limited by your current capabilities. Growth mindset says you can develop through effort. When you face challenges, remind yourself, I can learn this. I can improve at this. I'm capable of growth. This mindset makes obstacles feel temporary rather than permanent. Schedule think time. Don't just react mentally all day. Schedule time to think deliberately about important questions. Where am I heading? What should I prioritize? What's working and what needs adjustment? What do I need to learn? This proactive thinking is different from reactive thinking. It guides your reconstruction rather than just responding to circumstances. Learn continuously. Keep your mind active and growing. Read widely. Learn new skills. Engage with challenging ideas. Take courses. Have substantive conversations. A mind that's actively learning stays sharp and flexible. A mind that's not learning atrophies. Practice gratitude. This is mental training for focus. Your mind naturally focuses on problems and threats. That's evolutionary wiring. Deliberately practicing gratitude trains your mind to notice positives. This creates more balanced, healthy thinking. Here's why mental mastery matters. Your mind interprets everything you experience. Two people face the same situation. One's mind interprets it as disaster, the other as challenge. The situation is the same. The mental interpretation creates entirely different experiences. By mastering your mental space, you're controlling your experience of life. You're choosing how to interpret, what to focus on, and what to believe. This is tremendous power. Let me address a concern. Isn't this just controlling thoughts? That sounds exhausting. You're already controlling thoughts poorly. You're letting random inputs and old patterns control them. Conscious control is actually less exhausting because you're directing mental energy productively rather than letting it spin in anxiety loops. Another concern. Some thoughts are valid warnings. Won't I ignore important signals? You're not ignoring thoughts. You're evaluating them. Useful warnings get attention and appropriate action. Unhelpful rumination gets dismissed. Here's your action step. This week, implement 3 mental mastery practices. Maybe mindfulness meditation for 10 minutes daily, journaling in the evening, and challenging 3 negative thoughts per day. Notice how your mental space changes. Notice increased clarity, reduced anxiety, better focus. Master your mental space. Control what occupies your mind. Rebuild your thinking patterns. Chapter 7. Heal your emotional wounds. You carry emotional wounds from your past. Everyone does. Experiences that hurt you, damaged your self-worth, created fear, or left you broken in some way. These wounds don't heal automatically. They stay with you, affecting your present. They influence your reactions, limit your relationships, create patterns of behavior that sabotage you. You can't fully rebuild yourself while carrying unhealed wounds. They're like cracks in your foundation. Whatever you build on them will be unstable. Healing is essential for reconstruction, not as self-indulgence, as necessity. Here's what emotional healing involves. Acknowledge your wounds. Many people deny their emotional pain. They minimize it, avoid it, or pretend it doesn't affect them. This doesn't make wounds go away. It just prevents healing. Name your wounds honestly. What experiences hurt you? What left lasting damage? What do you need to heal from? This acknowledgement is the first step. Feel your feelings. You have emotions about your wounds: pain, anger, sadness, fear, shame. Many people suppress these feelings. They think feeling them is weakness or will overwhelm them. But suppressed emotions don't disappear. They just operate unconsciously, affecting you without your awareness. Allow yourself to feel. Set aside time to actually experience your emotions about what hurt you. Cry if you need to. Express anger safely. Acknowledge pain. Feeling feelings processes them. Suppressing them preserves them. Stop numbing. People use various methods to avoid feeling their wounds. Alcohol, drugs, food, work, entertainment, busyness, relationships. These numbing strategies prevent healing. You can't heal what you're constantly avoiding. Reduce numbing behaviors. Sit with discomfort. Face what you've been avoiding. Seek professional help. Some wounds are too deep or complex to heal alone. Therapists, counselors, and trauma specialists have tools for healing that you don't have. There's no shame in seeking help. You'd see a doctor for a physical wound. Emotional wounds deserve the same care. If your wounds significantly affect your life, get professional support. Practice self-compassion. When addressing wounds, many people are harsh with themselves. I should be over this by now. I'm weak for still being affected. This shouldn't bother me. This self-judgment compounds the wound. Treat yourself with compassion. You were hurt. That's not your fault. Healing takes time. That's normal. Understand that healing isn't linear. You won't feel progressively better every day. Healing has ups and downs. Some days you feel great. Other days, old pain resurfaces. This doesn't mean you're not healing. It means healing is complex. Be patient with the process. Forgive when ready. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. It's not condoning what happened. It's not forgetting. It's not letting people back into your life who hurt you. Forgiveness is releasing the resentment that's poisoning you. It's freeing yourself from carrying the weight of anger and bitterness. You do this for yourself, not for others. When you're ready, not before. Set boundaries. Part of healing is protecting yourself from further wounds. This requires boundaries. Say no to people or situations that hurt you. Remove yourself from toxic relationships. Protect your emotional space. Boundaries aren't mean. They're healthy self-protection. Rewrite your narrative. You have stories about your wounds. This happened, which means I'm broken, unlovable, damaged. These narratives affect your identity. Rewrite them. This happened, but it doesn't define me. I'm healing. I'm becoming stronger through this work. New narratives create new possibilities. Transform pain into wisdom. Your wounds can become sources of strength. They teach you empathy, resilience, depth, and compassion. Not everything happens for a reason. That minimizes real pain. But what can I learn from this? How can this make me wiser? Connect with others who understand. Healing often happens in connection. Talking with others who've experienced similar pain helps you feel less alone. Support groups, trusted friends, therapy groups. Find places where your pain is understood and validated. Integrate your wounds. Eventually, healing means integrating wounds into your whole self. They're part of your history, but they don't control your present. You're not defined by what hurt you. You're not limited by your past. You're someone who experienced pain and healed from it. This integration is the goal of healing work. Here's why healing matters for rebuilding yourself. Unhealed wounds create unconscious patterns. You react from old pain rather than responding to present reality. You sabotage relationships because past relationships hurt you. You avoid opportunities because past failures scared you. These unconscious patterns prevent authentic rebuilding. You're trying to become someone new, but old wounds keep pulling you into old patterns. By healing, you free yourself from these patterns. You can respond to present reality rather than reacting from past pain. You can build relationships based on current people, not past betrayals. You can take risks based on current circumstances, not past failures. Let me give you an example. Two people are rebuilding themselves after difficult childhoods. Person A refuses to acknowledge their wounds. They deny that childhood experiences still affect them. They wonder why their relationships keep failing in the same ways, why they react so strongly to certain triggers, why they can't seem to change certain patterns. The unhealed wounds are unconsciously controlling them. Person B does the hard work of healing, therapy, processing emotions, understanding patterns. It's painful and takes time, but gradually they're freed from unconscious reactions. They can build new patterns based on who they want to be, not who their wounds made them. Same difficult past. Different approach to healing. Different futures. Let me address a concern. Won't focusing on wounds make me dwell on the past? There's a difference between productive healing and unproductive rumination. Healing actively processes and integrates pain. Rumination passively dwells on it. You're not staying in the past. You're healing from it so you can fully be in the present. Another concern. I don't want to be defined by my trauma. That's exactly why you need to heal it. Unhealed wounds define you unconsciously. Healed wounds become integrated parts of your history that inform but don't control you. Here's your action step. Identify one emotional wound that still affects you. This week, take one action toward healing it. Maybe schedule a therapy session. Maybe journal about the wound. Maybe set a boundary related to it. Maybe practice self-compassion about it. Start the healing process. Acknowledge what needs healing. Begin the work. Heal your emotional wounds. Free yourself from past pain. Build on solid emotional foundation. Chapter 8. Develop your skills deliberately. Who you become is largely determined by what you can do. Your capabilities shape your opportunities, confidence, and contributions. Rebuilding yourself requires deliberately developing skills aligned with your blueprint. Most people accumulate skills accidentally. They learn what their job requires or what circumstances demand. They don't strategically build capabilities that serve their ideal self. This passive approach creates random skill sets that might not align with who you want to become. Rebuilding yourself requires deliberate skill development. Here's how. Identify the skills your ideal self possesses. Look at your blueprint. What capabilities does that person have? What can they do that you can't yet? Maybe public speaking, writing, coding, managing people, financial literacy, negotiation, creativity, physical skills, languages, technical abilities, emotional intelligence. Make a comprehensive list. These are your target skills. Prioritize based on impact. You can't develop everything at once. Which skills would have the greatest impact on becoming your ideal self? Maybe one skill would dramatically change your career opportunities, another would significantly improve your relationships, another would enable creative expression you've been wanting. Choose 1 to 3 high-impact skills to focus on initially. Assess your current level. For each skill, honestly evaluate your current capability. Beginner? Intermediate? Advanced but rusty? This assessment helps you set realistic expectations and choose appropriate learning methods. Create a learning plan. How will you develop this skill? What resources will you use? Books? Courses? Mentors? Practice? All of these? Be specific. I'll read 3 books on negotiation, take an online course, and practice in low-stakes situations weekly. Practice deliberately. Not just any practice, deliberate practice. This means focused attention on specific aspects, immediate feedback on performance, repetition with refinement, pushing slightly beyond current capability, reflection on what's working and what's not. Casual practice maintains current level, deliberate practice improves it. Seek quality instruction. Learn from people who've mastered the skill. Read their books. Take their courses. If possible, get direct coaching. Good instruction accelerates learning dramatically. Poor instruction or self-teaching with no guidance wastes time. Apply skills in real contexts. Theory is important, but skill develops through application. Use what you're learning in real situations. Learning public speaking? Give real presentations. Learning writing? Publish real articles. Learning negotiation? Negotiate real deals. Application reveals gaps in understanding and reinforces learning. Embrace the beginner stage. When learning new skills, you'll be bad at them initially. Accept this. Everyone starts as a beginner. Don't let ego prevent you from sucking at something. That temporary incompetence is necessary for eventual competence. Track your progress. Measure improvement over time. Record yourself. Track metrics. Save early work to compare with later work. Progress isn't always obvious day to day, but comparing month 1 to month 6 reveals significant growth. Join communities of practice. Find others developing the same skills. Online communities, local groups, classes. Learning alongside others provides motivation, feedback, and accelerated growth through shared knowledge. Teach what you're learning. One of the best ways to solidify understanding is teaching. Write about the skill. Explain it to others. Mentor beginners. Teaching forces clarity and reveals gaps in your own understanding. Invest in development. Skill development often requires investment. Courses, books, coaching, tools, time. Don't let cost prevent development if the skill is important for your blueprint. This is investment in yourself, the highest ROI investment you can make. Create skill development routines. Don't leave practice to chance. Schedule it. Make it a routine. Every morning, I practice skill for 30 minutes before work. Every Saturday, I dedicate 2 hours to skill development. Routines ensure consistent practice, which creates consistent improvement. Cross-train between related skills. Skills often reinforce each other. Writing improves thinking. Public speaking improves communication. Physical skills improve discipline. Recognize connections between skills. Development in one area often accelerates development in related areas. Document your learning journey. Keep notes on what you're learning, insights you're having, challenges you're facing. This documentation serves multiple purposes, reinforces learning, tracks progress, and can become content you share with others. Push through plateaus. Skill development isn't linear. You'll hit plateaus where progress seems to stop. This is normal. Don't quit. Plateaus are often right before breakthroughs. Persist through them with consistent practice. Update skills regularly. Skills you've developed require maintenance. Plus, fields evolve. What was cutting edge 5 years ago might be outdated now. Regularly refresh and update your skills. Never assume you're done learning. Here's why deliberate skill development matters. Skills are the translation of vision into reality. You can envision your ideal self, but without capabilities, you can't actualize it. Want to be an author? You need writing skills. Want to be a leader? You need people skills. Want to be healthy? You need skills in nutrition, exercise, and stress management. Your skills determine what's possible for you. By deliberately developing them, you're expanding your possibilities. Additionally, skill mastery builds confidence. When you know you're capable, you feel capable. This confidence affects everything. Let me give you an example. Two people want to rebuild themselves into entrepreneurs. Person A has an idea but no relevant skills. They don't develop sales, marketing, finance, or management skills. They jump in unprepared. They struggle and likely fail because they lack necessary capabilities. Person B spends a year deliberately developing entrepreneurial skills. They learn sales, marketing, basic finance, and management. They practice on small projects. Then they launch their business with strong foundational skills. They're far more likely to succeed. Same goal, different approach to skill development, different likelihood of success. Let me address a concern. I don't have time to learn new skills while handling everything else. You don't have time not to. Your capabilities determine your opportunities and effectiveness. Lacking skills limits you far more than time spent developing them. Also, many skills can be developed in small daily chunks. 30 minutes daily compounds significantly over months. Another concern: what if I'm too old to learn new skills? Research shows adults can learn new skills at any age. Learning might be slightly slower than childhood, but it's absolutely possible. Your age is irrelevant. Your commitment to learning is what matters. Here's your action step. Choose one skill critical for your ideal self. This week, create a learning plan. What resources you'll use, how you'll practice, how much time you'll dedicate. Then start. Begin your deliberate practice. Even 15 to 30 minutes daily creates progress. Develop your skills deliberately. Build capabilities aligned with your blueprint. Become someone capable of your vision. Chapter 9. Align with your authentic self. Beneath all the conditioning, expectations, and roles you've taken on, there's an authentic self, your true nature, your genuine preferences, values, and desires. Most people lose touch with this authentic self. They become who others expect them to be, who society tells them to be, who circumstances require them to be. They layer on so many external identities that they forget who they actually are underneath. Rebuilding yourself isn't about becoming someone else. It's about removing what's false and revealing what's true. It's about alignment between who you are and who you present to the world. This alignment is essential for sustainable transformation, because when you're building something authentic, you can maintain it. When you're building something false, trying to be who you're not, it eventually crumbles. Here's how to align with your authentic self. Question inherited beliefs and values. Many of your beliefs weren't consciously chosen. They were absorbed from family, culture, religion, society. Ask yourself, do I actually believe this? Or did I just inherit it? Does this value reflect me, or reflect what I was told to value? Some inherited beliefs might be authentic to you. Others might not be. Distinguish between them. Identify your genuine preferences. What do you actually enjoy? Not what you think you should enjoy. Not what others enjoy. What brings you genuine pleasure and satisfaction? People often suppress authentic preferences to fit in or meet expectations. Reconnect with what you truly like. Examine your motivations. Why do you do what you do? Are you pursuing goals because you genuinely want them, or because you think you should want them? Are you trying to impress others, meet expectations, prove something, or are you authentically called to these pursuits? Authentic goals energize you. Inauthentic goals deplete you even when you achieve them. Notice when you're performing. You have a version of yourself you present to the world. Sometimes this version is authentic. Sometimes it's a performance acting how you think you should act rather than being how you actually are. Notice when you're performing. When does the mask go up? With whom? In what situations? This awareness is the first step toward authenticity. Spend time alone with yourself. You can't know yourself if you're constantly distracted or surrounded by others. Solitude is where you meet yourself. Regular alone time, no phones, no distractions, allows you to hear your authentic voice beneath the noise. Express yourself truthfully. Practice saying what you actually think and feel, not what you think others want to hear. Start small. In low-stakes situations, express authentic opinions and preferences. Build the muscle of authenticity. Accept all parts of yourself. You have parts you like and parts you don't. Shadows, flaws, contradictions. You're complex. Authenticity means accepting all of it, not just presenting the good parts, the whole, complex human. This doesn't mean expressing every thought or impulse. It means internally accepting all aspects of yourself. Stop comparing yourself to others. Comparison pulls you away from your authentic path. You start wanting what others have, pursuing what others pursue, measuring yourself against their standards. Your path is yours. Their path is theirs. Comparison creates inauthenticity. Honor your energy and rhythms. You have natural energy, patterns, work styles, and rhythms. Some people are morning people. Others are night people. Some work in intense bursts. Others prefer steady consistency. Honor your authentic patterns, rather than forcing yourself into templates that don't fit. Pursue what genuinely interests you, not what's prestigious, not what's lucrative, not what impresses others, what actually fascinates you. Follow your genuine curiosity. It's a compass pointing toward your authentic path. Set boundaries based on your values. What's truly unacceptable to you? What violates your authentic values? Set boundaries accordingly. Don't let others pressure you into accepting what doesn't align with your authentic self. Let go of who you thought you'd be. You might have had expectations about who you'd become that don't match who you actually are. Release those expectations. They're often based on younger, less self-aware versions of you or on external expectations. Embrace who you actually are. Make aligned choices. When facing decisions, ask, which choice is more aligned with my authentic self? Choose that one. Each aligned choice strengthens your authenticity. Each inauthentic choice weakens it. Be willing to disappoint others. Authenticity sometimes disappoints people who prefer your inauthentic version. They like the version that met their needs or expectations. Accept this. You can't be authentic while trying to never disappoint anyone. Find your people. Seek relationships where you can be authentic, where you don't have to perform or hide, where you're accepted as you are. These relationships are deeply nourishing and reinforce your authenticity. Here's why authenticity matters for rebuilding yourself. When you're living inauthentically, you're building someone else's version of you. This never feels right. It creates internal conflict, drains energy, and eventually collapses. When you're living authentically, you're building your actual self. This feels right. It creates internal coherence, generates energy, and is sustainable. Think about times in your life when you felt most alive, most yourself. Chances are, those were moments of authenticity, when you weren't performing or pretending, when you were simply being who you are. Rebuilding yourself means creating more of those moments, aligning your entire life with your authentic self. Let me give you an example. Two people are rebuilding their careers. Person A pursues what's prestigious and well-paid, even though it doesn't align with their interests or values. They achieve external success, but feel empty and exhausted. The work doesn't resonate with their authentic self. Person B identifies what genuinely interests them and aligns with their values. They pursue that, even though it's less prestigious or lucrative. They build a career that feels authentic. They're energized by their work because it aligns with who they actually are. Same effort to rebuild. different approach to authenticity, different experiences of the results. Let me address a concern. Won't being authentic make me selfish or inconsiderate? Authenticity isn't selfishness. You can be authentic while still caring about others, meeting responsibilities, and being considerate. The difference is, you do these things from authentic choice, not from performing or people-pleasing. Another concern: what if my authentic self isn't very impressive? Your authentic self doesn't need to be impressive to others. It just needs to be true. Living an impressive but inauthentic life is far worse than living a humble but authentic one. Here's your action step. This week, identify 3 areas where you're not being authentic, where you're performing, pretending, or following inauthentic paths. Choose one. Take one action toward greater authenticity in that area. Maybe expressing a genuine opinion, maybe setting a boundary, maybe pursuing a genuine interest. Notice how authenticity feels. Notice the relief of not pretending. Align with your authentic self. Remove the false layers. Reveal who you truly are. Chapter 10. Commit to daily self-investment. Everything we've discussed requires consistent action over time. Rebuilding yourself isn't a weekend project. It's a daily practice that continues as long as you're alive. The final principle is committing to making yourself your primary focus every single day. Not occasionally, not when convenient. Daily. This might sound intense or selfish. It's actually the only way transformation happens, and it's the most generous thing you can do, because becoming your best self benefits everyone around you. Here's what daily self-investment means. Non-negotiable daily practice. Every single day, you do something for your reconstruction. Exercise, reading, skill practice, reflection, therapy, meditation, something. This isn't optional. It's not when you have time. It's prioritized daily time. Even on difficult days, even on busy days, especially on those days, because those are the days that determine whether you're serious about rebuilding yourself. Morning focus ritual. Start each day with focus on yourself, not checking email or social media, focusing on you. This might be meditation, journaling, exercise, reading, planning your day, reviewing your blueprint, something that centers you on your development. This morning ritual sets the tone. You're starting the day investing in yourself, not immediately giving your energy to external demands. Progress tracking. Daily, track your progress. What did you do today toward your reconstruction? Which habits did you maintain? What did you learn? How did you align with your blueprint? This tracking creates accountability and awareness. You see patterns. You notice when you're drifting. You celebrate progress. Evening reflection. End each day with reflection. What worked today? What didn't? What will you do differently tomorrow? What are you grateful for? How did you grow today? This reflection consolidates learning and sets intention for the next day. Protect your development time. You'll face constant demands on your time and attention. Work, family, social obligations, endless distractions. Protect time for yourself fiercely. Schedule it. Treat it as non-negotiable as important meetings. Say no to things that interfere with your development time. This isn't selfishness. This is recognizing that you can't give from an empty well. By protecting development time, you're ensuring you have something to give. Invest financially in yourself. This might be controversial, but rebuilding yourself often requires financial investment. Books, courses, coaching, therapy, gym memberships, quality food, tools. These are investments in your most valuable asset, yourself. They're not expenses, they're investments with returns that compound over your lifetime. Don't let misplaced frugality prevent development. Invest in yourself generously. Regular deep work sessions. Daily maintenance is essential, but also schedule longer sessions for deeper work, a few hours weekly of focused development in key areas. This deep work is where significant progress happens. Daily practice maintains. Deep work advances. Continuous learning commitment. Commit to being a perpetual learner, always reading, always developing skills, always growing understanding. This isn't just career development, it's comprehensive learning across all dimensions of your life. Surround yourself with growth. Make your environment support daily development. Books visible. Inspiring content accessible. Growth-focused people in your life. Visual reminders of your blueprint. Your environment should constantly remind you, you're rebuilding yourself. This is your focus. Measure long-term. Don't judge progress daily. You're making tiny improvements each day that seem insignificant. But measure monthly, quarterly, yearly. That's where you see transformation. The daily investments compound into dramatic change over time. Adjust your approach. What works early in your rebuilding might not work later. Stay flexible. Adapt your practices as you evolve. The commitment is to daily investment, not to specific methods forever. Share your journey selectively. You don't need to broadcast your development work, but sharing selectively with supportive people creates accountability and inspiration. Find 1 or 2 people who support your rebuilding and share your progress with them regularly. Celebrate milestones. When you achieve significant progress, acknowledge it. Don't just move immediately to the next goal. Celebration reinforces the behavior and builds positive association with the work of rebuilding yourself. Remember your why. When daily investment feels hard, and it will reconnect with why you're doing this. Who are you becoming? What becomes possible when you're rebuilt? Why does this matter? Your why fuels your commitment when motivation wanes. Here's why daily investment is essential. Transformation requires consistency over time. One intense weekend of self-improvement doesn't create lasting change. Daily investment over months and years does. It's like fitness. One amazing workout doesn't create fitness. Daily exercise over time does. Your daily choices compound. Each day you invest in yourself, you're slightly better. Multiply that by 365 days. Then, by multiple years. The compound effect is extraordinary. But you only get that compounding if you make the daily investments. Skip days, and you interrupt compounding. Additionally, daily focus keeps you oriented toward your blueprint. It prevents drift back into old patterns. It maintains momentum. Think about people you admire who've transformed themselves. They didn't do it through occasional effort. They did it through daily, committed investment in their development over years. That's the level of commitment required. Not occasional. Daily. Let me address a concern. Isn't this too self-focused? What about serving others? You serve others better when you're strong, developed, and aligned. Taking care of yourself enables taking care of others. Also, you can maintain relationships and responsibilities while prioritizing daily self-investment. It's not either, or. Another concern. What if I miss days? You will occasionally. Life happens. Don't make that an excuse to quit. Get back to daily investment immediately. Never miss 2 days in a row. 1 missed day is a mistake. 2 is a new pattern. The pattern of not investing in yourself. Here's your action step. Design your daily self-investment practice. What will you do every single day for your reconstruction? Maybe 30 minutes of exercise, 20 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of journaling, and 10 minutes of skill practice. Whatever aligns with your blueprint. Schedule it, protect it. Start tomorrow, then do it again the next day, and the next, and the next. This daily practice is how you rebuild yourself. This is how transformation happens. Commit to daily self-investment. Make yourself your primary focus every day. Rebuild yourself consistently over time. We've explored 10 principles for rebuilding yourself. Accept that you're a work in progress. Create your blueprint, design your ideal self. Eliminate what doesn't serve you. Build new, empowering habits. Prioritize your physical foundation. Master your mental space. Heal your emotional wounds. Develop your skills deliberately. Align with your authentic self. Commit to daily self-investment. These aren't just concepts to understand. They're practices to implement. A complete system for systematic personal transformation. But understanding the system is only the beginning. Implementation is everything. Here's the truth. Most people will read this and do nothing. They'll appreciate the ideas but not apply them. They'll intend to change but maintain old patterns. Don't be most people. You're at a choice point. You can close this audiobook and continue being who you've been, or you can commit to rebuilding yourself starting today. Not someday. Not when circumstances are better. Not when you feel ready. Today. Because here's what I need you to understand. You're either rebuilding yourself or you're decaying. There's no neutral. You're either actively developing or passively degrading. The current version of you is temporary. You'll either intentionally rebuild yourself into someone stronger, or you'll unintentionally drift into someone weaker. Choose rebuilding. Choose active development. Choose to make yourself your daily focus. This isn't selfish, it's necessary. The world needs people who've done the work of becoming whole, strong, and aligned. People who can show up fully because they've built themselves into someone capable. That person can be you, but only if you commit to the daily practice of rebuilding. Start with one principle, maybe building one new habit, maybe healing one wound, maybe developing one skill. Start somewhere concrete. Then, add another principle, and another. Build your rebuilding practice systematically. Within weeks, you'll notice changes. More energy, greater clarity, stronger boundaries, better habits, growing capabilities. Within months, you'll see transformation. You're becoming recognizably different, more aligned, more capable, more yourself. Within years, you'll be unrecognizable from your current self. You'll have rebuilt yourself so thoroughly that looking back at who you were now will seem like a different person. But this only happens if you make yourself your focus. Every single day. Not everyone will understand this commitment. Some will call you selfish. Some will pressure you to put their needs first. Some will be uncomfortable with your transformation. Let them. Their comfort isn't your responsibility. Your development is. You're not abandoning others. You're building yourself into someone who can actually contribute meaningfully. You're becoming whole so you can help others from wholeness, not from brokenness. The most generous thing you can do is become the person you're capable of becoming. The most loving thing is to heal yourself so you can love from health, not need. The most responsible thing is to develop yourself so you can fulfill responsibilities from strength, not depletion. So make yourself your project, your primary focus, your daily commitment. Rebuild yourself, brick by brick, habit by habit, skill by skill, day by day. You're worth the investment. Your potential is worth developing. Your authentic self is worth revealing. Every morning, wake up and ask, what will I do today to rebuild myself? Every evening, reflect, how did I invest in myself today? How did I move closer to my blueprint? This daily rhythm morning intention, daily investment, evening reflection is the practice of rebuilding yourself. Do this consistently, and transformation is inevitable. You'll become someone new, someone stronger, someone more aligned, someone more capable, someone more authentic. You'll become who you're meant to be. Not who circumstances made you. Not who others expected you to be. Who you actually are, beneath the conditioning and limitations. That person is waiting to be rebuilt. That person is possible. That person is worth the daily focus. Rebuild yourself. Let your focus be on you every day. Not in narcissism, in development, in healing, in alignment, in becoming. This is your most important work. This is your primary responsibility. This is your life's project. Start today. Focus on yourself daily. Rebuild yourself consistently. Transform into who you're meant to be. Your reconstruction begins now.